Most people think that art is a form of entertainment. Science is where reality gets discovered. But art has always changed the way we see the world, long before science tries to explain it. When painters broke a perspective, musicians broke harmony, and poets broke language, they weren't escaping reality, they're exposing how fragile our picture of reality really is. If art can completely change how you experience the world, how much of reality exists only inside perception? Physics, Consciousness and Reality. Dickie Dredd and Nigel Adams. And this is part 35 in the video series. We're on chapter 4, Mathematics, Beauty and Limits. And today we talk about section 32 in the book, which is Art and the Shape of Perception. If science is one way of asking what reality is, then art is another. Where physics uses equations and experiments, art uses images, sounds, movements and materials. Both, however, reveal something crucial, that what we call reality is not given raw, but shaped through perception and imagination. From the earliest cave paintings to the latest digital creations, art has never been a mere reflection of the world. It selects, distorts, exaggerates and invents. A painting does not reproduce light waves. It creates an arrangement of colour and form that evokes a world in the mind of the viewer. A poem does not copy the structure of sound. It reshapes language into rhythm and resonance. In this sense, art is a laboratory of perception, a place where the icons of our interface are stretched, twisted and made strange. Think of Cubism. Picasso and Braque fractured perspective, showing multiple angles at once. Interestingly, around the same time as Einstein and others were shattering our notion of an absolute frame of reference. To the eye trained by centuries of realistic painting, the result was shocking, even ugly, but it revealed something true, that our sense of solid, coherent space is itself a construction. Or think of abstract art, where form, colour and motion exist without representing any recognisable object. I think again of quantum theory here. Here, the question is not what is it, but how does it feel? A move towards the raw qualia of perception itself. Music too is a game with perception. A scale is not inscribed in nature. It is a cultural system that organises vibrations into patterns we can hear as melody and harmony. Dissonance, rhythm, silence all become tools for exploring how time and emotion are experienced. The fact that certain intervals feel peaceful and others tense is not a law of physics, but a window into the structure of the human nervous system. In this way, art stands beside science and philosophy as a third line of inquiry into reality. It does not claim objectivity, but nor does it claim doctrinal truth. What it does is remind us that our experience is always mediated. Just as physics shows us that space and time are not fixed, and Buddhism tells us that the self is fragile, art demonstrates that what we take for granted as the real can be reshaped in an instant. Eastern traditions often wove art directly into their philosophy. The symmetry of mandalas, the rhythm of calligraphy, the balance of the brush and void in Taoist painting. There were no decorations, but practices of perception. They trained the mind to see interdependence, emptiness and flow. Western traditions have tended to separate art from science, but the modern era is full of crossovers. Kandinsky, influenced by theosophy, Escher, exploring infinity and impossible geometries, contemporary artists using neuroscience and AI to probe perception itself. For our purposes, the point is simple. Art is a reminder that perception is not passive. It is active, creative, world-making. The tree you see in a landscape painting is no more the tree than the icon on your desktop is the file. Both are simplified, stylized representations, useful, beautiful, but not the thing itself. So as we move through physics, philosophy and consciousness, keep art in mind as a companion. It does not provide final answers, but it keeps us honest. It stops us from mistaking our models for the world, and perhaps it gives us a glimpse, however fleeting, of what it means to live in a universe where reality is not fixed but arises in the play between world, mind and imagination. So reality is never experienced directly. Every experience is filtered through perception, interpretation and imagination. The world you live in is partly something your mind is constantly creating, which means the problem isn't just whether reality exists independently of us. It might be whether we ever encounter it without first rebuilding it inside consciousness. Where does reality end and perception begin? Next up, we got the last part in Chapter 4, Mathematics, Beauty and Limits, and it'll be Section 33, Illusion Defined, and then we'll move on to Chapter 5.